Hello and welcome to this video on vertical or horizontal graphs. So maybe you want to pause the video and attempt these questions beforehand. And if you're having trouble, keep watching and see if you get the right answers. Let's check it out. Sketch the graph of the following horizontal and vertical lines. All right, I will show you what to do. Sometimes students get a bit confused, but it's all right. So we've got, if we're sketching the graph of y equals 4, all you do is mark where y equals 4 lies. All right, it lies on the y-axis. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be, that's all it is. It's going to be, the graph of y equals 4 is a horizontal line cutting the y-axis at 4. All right. Now, it does seem a bit weird, right? Because the y-axis is vertical. So I just think, okay, it's the opposite. It's a horizontal line. In my mind, I'm like, oh, what? I would expect it to be vertical, but no, it is horizontal. So first step, just mark in where it lies on the axis and then just recognize that it's the opposite of what you think, if that makes any sense. So let's check out this one. So that was the graph of y equals 4. What about the graph of x equals -5? So it will lie on the x-axis, x, and I'm just going to mark in where's -5. So 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Okay. And it's the opposite of what you think. It's going to, the x-axis is horizontal. The graph of x equals -5 is vertical. So that's how I think about it. This is the graph of x equals -5. Let's check out the next one. So sketch the graph of the following horizontal lines. Let's set up our Cartesian plane. That's not right. Oh. Okay. What's the graph of x equals 2 looks like? Did I put the x and y? Yeah. So the graph of x equals 2, well, that will lie on the x-axis at 2, and it's the opposite of what you think. X-axis is horizontal. The graph of x is vertical. The graph of x equals something is vertical. So this is the graph of x equals 2. The graph of y equals 4. Well, mark on the y-axis at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And mark it in. Y equals 4. So that's looking good. Opposite of what you'd think. Remember that. Write the equation of the following graph. All right, so sometimes it can be a little bit tricky working out this. So it cuts the y-axis. All right. That's why I think to myself, well, that's y equals -2. And then again, I confirm it by saying, oh, well, it looks like an x-axis, but it's the opposite of what you'd think. It's the graph of y equals -2 looks like an x-axis. Hope that makes sense. Let's keep checking it out. What's the equation of this graph? So this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. It's cutting the y-axis. It's y equals 4. The graph of y equals 4 looks like an x-axis. And what about this one? Write the equation of the following graph. Well, it's cutting the x-axis. X equals -1. And the graph of an x function looks like a y-axis. We're all good. All right, the equation of this graph, well, it's cutting the x-axis. X equals 5. The graph of an x function looks like a y-axis. Write the equation of this graph. Well, it's cutting the y-axis. Y equals 2.5, and we know that the graph of a y function looks like an x-axis. Final question. So Okay, it's cutting the x-axis at negative 5.7. X is negative 5.7. Graph of x-axis, graph of x function looks like a y-axis, the opposite of what you'd think. And that's all I've got. So I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.